One for the TVP. I'm feeling good for Zest, man. He really just chopped the head off of Stats, and Stats was not playing poorly. I mean, very different matchup. Stats was playing great in PvZ, got instantly 2-0'd in PvP. It is what it is. Zest dominates in a PvP, but then gets killed in a PvT. I mean, that wouldn't be the most surprising thing, but I'm just feeling it. I just feel good for Zest. Dream had a little more of a problem against Armani. Still managed to win out to bring him here to the finals. Now, facing off against Zest for, what is the pot here? $100 for first, $50 for second. Both players with the points they get for being in the finals are basically shoo-ins for the Olimoleague finals too, which is quite nice. But you want the $100 right now. You know what $100 can buy you in Korea? Like 5 Korean barbecues. No more. Like 7. It's pretty great. In the top right as the red Terran, you got Dream. In the bottom left, blue Protoss. Zest. I've always liked Zest's PvT. Makes me feel better about myself when he does the banking. And I can be like, I'm playing exactly like Zest. Nah, I'm kidding. I do like playing like Zest has played, though. Zest for a long time, even when it wasn't the most popular thing to do, was going for the Twilight Council style. Now it's, you know, I mean, 50-50, I suppose, depending on the map. Some maps are going to be Stargate Colossus, and then Twilight Council, Blink Charge, and whatever else you can really do. Actually, a lot of builds in the matchup right now, but it's just as far as like the two big branches, those are usually what we're talking about. Twilight Council openers versus Stargate openers, because Robo openers, I mean, they happen, but I think they're the rarest. So for Zest, I always think of Blink into Charge. Always. Usually, I would say not the all-in version, but can definitely do that. Stalker's going to be chronoed out first and foremost. Certainly feeling a Twilight Council follow-up. Bunker comes down. Actually, it's a Stargate. It is a Stargate. Look at that. Look at that. Wow, really? I thought when a Stalker popped out, not the Adept, I thought it was really going to be a Twilight Council. Huh. Well, it's kind of unlikely to stop Dream from scouting this, I gotta say. Like, the Reaper in the hands of someone like Dream usually guarantee the scout, but Zest is doing a damn good job of denying it. Not gonna deny the bunker from getting up, but if he denies the Reaper, then good as, right? I mean, Dream's gonna have to salvage this and lose 25 minerals. Plus all the time the SCD could have been mining. One Stalker doing what 3 Stalkers in my hands could not do. It feels good. Wow. He's actually going to completely deny the Reaper. The bunker doesn't matter. Oh, it did scout it. Oh, I got just barely close enough. Oh, no, that's 7x. We're just kidding. Oh, yep, didn't scout it. So he denies the bunker. And Dream's just like, oh, okay, I guess. And then he also denies the scout and the Stargate, which I think will be a really big surprise. He's going to grab an Oracle and then go right into a Twilight Council. So this feels like he figured he could stop the Reaper from scouting. And if he had walled off completely this Reaper jump up, I would have been like, oh, okay, I could see it working out. But just one Stalker bullied that thing away. Now the Oracle's going to swoop in. Cyclone is prepared, however. Yeah. Really prepared, so. This one Oracle not looking so hot. Takes some hull damage. I think the Reaper just died. Or Marine? What the hell just happened? The Reaper just talked to me. That's what happened. And then right into that Blink. Alright, then. I'm not sure starting off with the Oracle has actually paid off. As cool as it was that the Stalker denied the Reaper scout on it, the fact that a Cyclone was actually there, I don't know. It's pretty hard to deny. I guess what this does, as opposed to a just Twilight Council opener, is that it gives you scouting. When you go for the Twilight Council, I mean, you can warp in kind of a fast sentry to get hallucination out there. You can go for faster gateways or a faster robo to try and get an observer out there. But yeah, you're gonna get a little bit on later on that scouting. And this Oracle was actually able to dip in, get kind of bobbed by the Cyclone, but actually see a fast third command center. And that's a pretty big deal. That's a lot of stalkers. Zest got some good stalker control. We saw it in the PvP. He's going to know his opponent is not going to have that swift of a follow-up for a push. So, not only that, with all the stalkers that Zest has, even if Dream were to try and push out, he would take a lot of harassment. With or without stim. He'd still take a lot of harassment. And this is, of course, a later stim with a faster third CC. So Zest is going to take that opportunity to grab a fairly fast fourth. 6 minutes here. Fourth base going down. That's pretty darn... Oh my god, he actually jumped into there. Oh my god, I didn't think he would do it. Oracle goes down, but Cyclone gets taken out. A couple Marines get taken out. Was this really worth it? Depth's trying to get into the natural as well. Going to grab a couple of SCVs, so maybe? He takes down a lot of Marines towards the end of that fight, thanks to the Blink Stalker micro, and there was even an army on the left side as a proxy pylon is actually being used. I thought that'd be maybe for a couple of Adepts, but gonna be used to reinforce the Stalkers as well. Damn. Alright then. So Zest grabs a faster fourth, double forge upgrades, and also just took out a decent chunk of the army. For 5 Stalkers, like the initial jump up didn't look that great, but he took out the Cyclone and then could kind of calmly attack the Marines since they don't kill Stalkers that fast without their stim. Combat shields isn't done, so the Stalkers are killing them relatively fast. And, well, that just ended up being a pretty damn good attack, didn't it? Zest is up 12 workers with his 4th base finished, building all of the extra gateways he would need to actually utilize this economy he's built up. He's warped in more Adepts, which take care of the SCVs at the 3rd. Shade into the natural. No, denied. Dream with the wall off is actually going to be very... very thankful he made that wall off. Couple of auto turrets coming down from the Raven, trying to get some revenge, but it feels like Zest is kind of manhandling Dream right now. The supplies don't really tell that tale, but keep in mind the supplies aren't true yet. Zest is going to have now 10 gateways. The one just finished. 10 gateways worth of Zealot production, man. Like, that's going to be a lot of army. And then, oh my god, the medevac goes down. Hey, it scouts the attack, right? I guess it's got that much going for it. Upgrades are going to be even as Dream also going for a little bit of that greed. 3rd CC and double engineering bay. So that's, I guess, the good news for him. He gets his tank set up in a little bit more of a defensive position. Kind of collects his army a little bit more than he would have had he just stayed around that 3rd. Here comes the fight. 1-1 is done for both. Widowmine's getting a couple of decent shots, actually. The Zealot's starting to get really thin. Tank's still alive as well. Zest is going to target that down before blinking away, or not even blinking away, actually. The Adepts providing also some extra buffer there, now blinking away. Attack not going as well as Zest was hoping for, because it was supposed to be more of a surprise, but look at the stasis trap. That was actually a very good one as they were being pulled away, I think, from an Adept. The Command Center, oh no, it's going to get thrown! Oh god, it actually goes down. Command Center goes down. That might just be it. Zest is on 4 bases, man. And he might not have Splash, but he is trading out efficiently enough with the army, I think. 10 Zealots being warped in every single round. 2-2 started. SCV's desperately pulled into this. Here come the Zealots, allowed in the fight as the Stalkers blink back. The Raven's like, what's up? I can do something? Kind of. Auto turret does take a couple of shots to kill. The Buyer army is still standing strong for now. But Zest just needs to start warping in back at home. And I wouldn't even mind more Stalkers being warped in, actually. It's a very microable army from Zest when more Stalkers you have, but against the exact composition of Dream, the type of army they start target firing down those Immortals. But Zealots are going to be the chonkers. They're going to be able to actually survive, envelop the army, slice and dice up the SCVs, where the Stalkers have a lot more trouble with that. And an Immortal is also being built here as he realizes that Dream is all in. So just build whatever the hell you can. Shield Bat is trying to finish up. Does he need them? He might. The probes are being pulled. The Stalker's coming from the backside. Immortal getting instantly targeted down, however. More Warpins coming in. 10 gateways, guys. 10. And the shield batteries have finished up. All the Zealots in the world. Stalkers now focus firing down Marauders when they can. And that is going to be it, I believe. All the SCVs of Dream were dead, or close to it, and Medevac's going to be running out of juice, blinking aggressively forward. I mean, Dream knows his opponent's on 4 bases. He might be like, oh, I killed a couple probes, am I right? You're really not. You're not. And what's even worse is that Zest is about to finish up that 2-2. GG. Zest with a 1-0. I love the Korean language. Romanticide is romanti. So cute. I just saw a cake. I really want cake now. Should I go buy cake, you guys? I'm planning on having champagne too. So I can have a funfetti cake with champagne. Yeah. That's the adult life right there. That's being an adult, Apollo. Mm-hmm. Agreed. Game 2, chosen by Dream. Romanticide. I guess I haven't really reminded people. It's been a while, but Olimoleague only has 5 maps in its map pool as opposed to the 7. So I believe what they do is that usually, I'm going to guess, I'm going to check in a second, but I'm going to guess first. Usually they just take out the old maps. So they got Pillars, Oxide, Lightshade, Romanticide, and Jagannatha. So no Death Aura, no Submarine, and no... Actually, I have the list in front of me. Wait, no, I already did it. I can count. I can count. Don't worry about it. I already did it. There's no Death Aura, no Submarine. Yeah. Do you get mistaken as an English teacher in Korea? Considering I don't live in Korea, then no. No, I do not get mistaken. Do you mean when I visit Korea? I gotta clarify because apparently people think that I live in Korea somehow. But when I'm in Korea, I've only ever gotten asked once. I lived there for 3 months and I lived in an apartment that had a large student presence. And there was like a lot of restaurants that are actually really cheap and really diverse, like 6 or 7 restaurants. And I'd gone to this one place often enough that the guy tried talking to me. And I understood enough Korean to know that he was asking me if I was a teacher. And I tried to explain that I'm a Starcraft 2 caster. Which in Korean is like sta 2. He didn't understand. I'd like to inform you all that once again Apollo has decided to try and help me observe today. He's actually not that fantastic at being helpful, if I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to show you guys as I kind of move over here. I might have to use Crank's camera. I can't even fix. I'm trying so hard, you guys. Okay. There's something happening. There's a proxy Stargate happening. Ah! You try to hop over that? Didn't really work, did it? Look at this cat! Look at it. What are you doing? Hello? You don't mind this action here? There you go. Really? You're just gonna sit there? Okay, alright. Well, now I got control of my camera back. I hope you guys enjoyed that. So Proxy Stargate. You know, Zest kind of tried to do a surprise Stargate, it felt like, last game. Didn't really work out, though. Not as well as he was hoping, but it still provided them that scouting like I was talking about, that knowledge of the 3rd CC, and still provided them the high ground vision that he used to blink up into the main with. That ended up doing a decent bit of damage. This Oracle is going to find some success. Gotta be careful, though. I think he might have seen the Wood of Mine actually burrow. It was a bit close. Runs over Marines, but still gonna be alive. Both Wood of Mines in the main means the natural was a little wide open. But only 3 SCVs going down. Proxy / surprise oracles, not as bad as they once were. It used to be a lot deadlier. Now it's like, I wish I had known, but oh well. So Dream, gonna have to just deal with it. He's gonna go into Cyclone. Oh, actually, I was gonna say, I kind of want him to not go into Cyclone Viking, so either cancel the Cyclone or cancel the Viking, but he cancels the Cyclone. Viking's gonna help. I think that is the preferable one to cancel, is the Cyclone. Going to tanks instead. Could go for a push if he thought he could get away with it, but he has so little scouting. He sees 2 gateways finish up in the natural, but doesn't see the 3rd is already underway. Even if he had seen this, I'm not sure a push would have really worked, to be honest. Would have been a little bit just like a YOLO little move, not really worth. No Phoenix was built, so the Wood of Mine drop could have commenced, but it was tagged very early on by the Oracle. And Dream's gonna set up for another wall. Another defensive TVP. I don't know if that's really gonna work out well for him. Zest has already taken, I feel like, a lot of benefits in this game. You know, the Oracle didn't do a lot of damage. It's not really what I'm talking about. Just the scouting, once again, that it gave into that faster 3rd Nexus. That is totally fine. Totally okay. Totally not going to be punished. I mean, I should clarify that, you know, a Terran able to macro without interruption is also quite intimidating. But Zest seems to either be getting enough information to take superior, I guess, builds, get a superior economy, or he has enough information to actually take decent engagements. Last game he had both. And here again, kind of abusing the wide open main base Romanicide. The tank sieged up in what is usually a good position, but can't quite reach. Constantly casting Revelation to both see the Wood of Mines as well as if the tank is repositioning. Zest is gonna sit here. What's up? What you gonna do about it? The cat cam's kind of interrupted by me having a hand, you know, so not sure it's really worth it. Zest's still not moving on. I mean, he's got to be paying attention to his army to make sure he doesn't get pounced upon. Hello? It's exactly what has happened here. Tank taking a lot of shots. I feel like Zest wasn't paying attention at that exact moment. That seemed like a little bit too much damage to take. He wanted to trade, sure, but that was a lot of shots to the face. But as I was going to say is that he's not only paying attention to his army, or hopefully he was paying attention, he also wants to continue macroing up back at home. So 3 base saturation, perhaps looking for a 4th soon. Zest is not going into double forge. Actually going into +1 in charge. And I don't know if I like this setup as much. He's got faster Templar Archives. Maybe gonna go into a faster Storm as well. A little bit of, wow, drop harassment with Stalkers. Don't see that too often. He's gonna attack? I just feel like this isn't... I don't know. Like, last game it felt clever the way that he attacked, and then the follow-up was a bit brutal, but it made sense. This game, I feel like he hasn't done nearly as much damage to the army or economy of his opponent. And that means that his opponent just gets to, I mean, have a decent army defensively set up with better upgrades. And Zest is just going to come in and try and win with numbers, but not even that many more numbers, guys. Like, I don't know about this one. Decay. He does start up +1 armor. Gets Storm. Looks to be going for a 4th base, so he doesn't have to all in. Dream doesn't know about it quite yet. He scans, sees no army. Well, now he's going to see an army, and that actually might be the death of him. Oh my god, that was so awkward. Oh my god, his army was going around his own supply depots. It wasn't simming extremely fast. The medevacs are on here on the left, healing a couple of marauders as opposed to the majority army to the right. This was the best case scenario for Zest, man. The surprise factor was real. Wow, he's gonna win with this. Why do I ever say Zest isn't gonna win? Apparently he is just going to win all the games all the time today. Damn. I mean, that was an even army supply, very even army supply, close to even, I should say. And he had 1-1 to just 1. He had 3 tanks that, if they're properly covered, are doing a heck of a lot of splash damage. There's so many reasons why Dream should have had at least an even fight, right? At least a little bit of back and forth, and instead it was just super one-sided. His tanks weren't protected, they got bopped instantly. His medevacs were on the right side of the fight. He wasn't controlling his bio army. So it got a little bit AI'd, and then it actually got just pounced upon. Dream's not having a good time. Whoopsie daisy. Paolo likes me. He wants me to go back to sleep. He wants a nap. How the hell did they do that? I mean, it was less Zest and more Dream, but positioning is rather important in Starcraft 2, so... you know, finding Dream distracted and then out of position, unprepared for the attack, all things that are pretty important. More important than the strength of Dream's defense. In the top right, of Pillars of Gold, we got Dream. In the bottom left, up 2-0. He's Zest. And, 2 different ways to crack Dream. One kind of longer, more harassment. Second was just straight up all in, just face first, no check, it's fine. Both worked, and that doesn't bode well for Dream. But Dream also being perhaps a little one-dimensional here. Really wants to get to that defensive setup and then go for a third CC macro game, as opposed to doing any type of 2-base, regular like 3 racks attack, no change up into proxies or banshees. Instead, he's playing, I think, too safe. And Zest, I mean, Zest is finding the holes is the real issue. Dream could play safe and actually cover all of his defenses and eventually get like a really big army, and suddenly Zest goes, oh crap, I don't have any splash. But we're not getting to that point. Zest is constantly finding Dream weak and defenseless in certain locations and then capitalizing on it very soon after. It feels like Dream doesn't have a chance unless he changes up his own build. Dream didn't make enough tanks. That's what you found problematic with his hold? Really? Okay. I respectfully disagree. I feel like there's like a very different perception when it comes to tanks in this matchup across each individual person, you know? Some people think, like, if you just get tanks, you're gonna win. It's like, well, that was true, then people would be playing mech. Some people think that if you get tanks, you just lose. Because, you know, charge lots are pretty good against them. The truth is always in the middle. Tanks can be very helpful, and more tanks could have been helpful. But it is so much more the fact that you have to cover your damn tanks. You have to have something protecting them from the scary, spooky charge lots and punishing something like an aggressive blink forward to snipe them. And Dream was not. To look at that engagement and be like, yeah, clearly Dream would have won that if he just had 5 tanks. Like, why? How? Like, his army was completely out of position. How is that not the most important thing about that defense? I don't know, mate. I don't know. I also don't know why those probes were all out there. I missed something. One probe goes down and Dream wants another one, but I don't think he's gonna get it. In fact, he's just gonna lose his Reaper. Adepts on the other side of the map looking to grab at least one SCV herself. I'm not gonna find it. Gonna stick around though. Make sure the mining doesn't happen in the natural. Little more annoying here for Dream. I mean, Zest at least cleared up his nuisance. And the Adept will finally be forced to shade out. Helene a little too good as long as it's properly microed, plus the anticipation of more units soon enough. Zest went for a Twilight Council opener, but is going into a very spooky Dark Shrine. And since the Reaper is dead, there's a little less scouting available for Dream. Now, the Hellions could still do it. And that's exactly what Zest is going to make sure doesn't happen. He's building a bit of a wall, trying to put his army in an aggressive stance to stop any single Hellion. It wouldn't stop 4. It actually wouldn't even stop 2, but it would stop 1. Dream's also going for a medevac. So the Hellions, had they raced across the map, would have seen it, I think. If the medevac drop gets into the main, they'll eventually get to the natural and see that it's a Dark Shrine. But specifically, by the time the medevac does any scouting, the Dark Shrine is done. And this is one of the fastest Dark Shrines that you can really do. Warp Prism included. Yeah, your medevac drops, like, medevac drop usually happens around 5 minutes. Around 5 minutes is when they're basically warping in the DTs. So it is a little bit of advance notice, but it's not a lot. That also depends on where the medevac goes. So into the main base is what we would expect. Hellion's gonna go right for that probe line. Nothing to defend here. Zest totally blindsided. That's gonna be a lot of dead probes. He's even attacking his own Nexus. Yep, that's not what you want to do. The DT is going to go into the main base, but the Raven is on the way. It's on the way, though. Scan's not quite prepared. 4 seconds away. Tank is taken out. Oh, Natural had a scan. Good save in the DTs, but the Warp Prism taking some hull damage. A little bit scary. Hellions continuing to do damage on the other side of the map, by the way. Dream finally striking back with a different build order. I feel very validated right now. One DT is saved. The other one, ooh, a little bit scary to save it, but he does. 20 probes have gone down compared to Dream just losing 2 SCVs, 3 SCVs. Excuse me. It's not a great start for our Protoss. No, it is not. And the medevac still lives on with 2 Hellions. Not 2 shots probes, but... Ooh, if he finds Zest out of position again, that could be still a lot more dead probes. Zest is going to try and chrono out his probes, it looks like. Try and recover from the economic damage while also looking for any opportunity to use his Archon. Gonna go for an Archon drop. It's always a little bit weird to go for Archon drops against Terran because they have projectiles. And against Zerg, they're relying on Queens to hit that Warp Prism, or maybe Roaches eventually to try and hit the Archons as well. But a lot of their initial defense is like Ling-based, right? Nope. A lot of the initial Terran defense is Marine-based. And Marines are actually pretty damn good, guys. They can shoot the Archons, and they can shoot the Warp Prism. How about that? I do like him trying to find tanks, though. And oh, excellent interference matrix. Yeah, Zest was playing with fire. He's going to tap out at the loss of that Archon. All right, Dream. Bringing it back. Not going to be a 3-0. What do you think of that, Apollo? Agreed. Next map's gonna be Lightshade. Dream is still on his last life. And what is really unfortunate about this situation is that Dream no longer gets any map choices. Zest gets to choose between Lightshade and... what have they played on? Jagannatha? I've actually forgotten. I don't remember. But by the time you make it to game number 5, there's no more choices. You just get to go on whatever map is left over. The bottom right of Lightshade, we got Zest. The top left, it is the Terran Dream. So yeah, bit of the winner's advantage here. The loser advantage, you get to pick the maps, I guess, in general, though. So, yeah. I guess it's more of a loser advantage, isn't it? It really depends on how swiftly, I guess, you get the 2 points on your side of the board. Just one of those things that's a little bit more interesting about the Olimoleague is that it is only 5 as opposed to 7. And those 2 maps that are missing could have actually been the ones you really prefer to play on. Unlikely. They usually take out the ones that aren't played on anyways, but could have happened. You ever considered getting any Starcraft hats? I think the first question you have to ask is anyone interested in getting tats? Kind of period, right? Isn't that the usual question? Like, are you the type of person to get a tattoo? No, I haven't considered getting any Starcraft tattoos. The awkwardness of swapping races after getting a tat. Yeah, that's my problem. I can't decide if I want a Terran or a Protoss race symbol. Yep, that's the reason. Get the random cube. Actually, I mean, that would just be like... I mean, imagine where you put the random cube. It could really have, like, implications. You know, it's like a cube with a question mark. You're getting into the sexy times. Where is that tattoo? What is it saying, guys? Chrono on the probes as well as an Adept. Twilight Council comes down. Zest did at one point really push this DT narrative. He was like, no, I can make DTs a very solid macro opener. And he was kind of correct. I think he's kind of pulled back from that, though. It's like, yes, it can. Last game was a disaster because Hellenes were included. If last game was like the previous games, where Dream just went for like a little Reaper harassment, kind of into that third CC pretty quickly, all defensive like. The deities not doing damage, getting scanned instantly and picked up in the Warp Prism is not that big of a deal. It's the fact that Zest also lost 20 probes while trying to do DT harassment that was ultimately very unsuccessful. That really did him in. So I could have seen Zest trying a Dark Shrine again, but I'm glad to see he doesn't. Just chronoing out a blink. Lightshade's not a very blinkable map for the high grounds. You get this section, and that's kind of it. You can't blink up here. You could blink here and then try and run here, but then you wouldn't be able to escape. So there is a decent amount of dead space on Lightshade that you can try and run around a tank positioning, but it'd be very ballsy to do it. And Zest has been a bit courageous in this series, so maybe he would. Maybe he would, specifically. Reaper goes down after killing 2 probes. Usually isn't too bad, but it did get a scout as well. It didn't get a scout. I don't know about this one. I don't know. It looks like Dream, yeah, there he is. He's gonna go swap off his factory and starport to get the faster stim and combat shield. So this was the build I was kind of alluding to when I was throwing out build ideas. He's gonna grab 1 tank, and I think that would be smart to grab 1, maybe 2, but I actually wouldn't want to see too many more. Just because Zest is a guy who loves Blink and is a guy who will aggressively use Blink. Wouldn't mind drop, doesn't do anything so far. 1 more in the main base, gonna be able to unload at the very least, but the medevac could go down. Oh my god, that was a little bit close. Still grabs the stalker though. Blink wasn't done? He just didn't blink it. He was, I think, maybe paying attention to the gas geyser probes. Medevac is barely able to escape. Really thought that was a goner. It is so damn low, but not quite. Adept chases down the last remaining Wouldn't Mind. Tried to scurry away. It's almost successful. Run, buddy. JK. Raven follow-up. Alright, so he didn't swap off very quick at all in his sim and combat shields. But he is going to only go for the 1 tank. Two tanks, damn. I'm not good at counting today. But no 3rd CC before he did this means that it is still going to be a faster stim and combat shield. I still like this changeup in his build as opposed to what he did the first 2 games. Zest is also changing up his build a little bit. I mean, still Blink and Charge, but note the lack of forges right now. He is on 3 gases, but that could just be supporting 1, the Immortal here popping out, but then also like a lot of Blink Stalkers, right? You could definitely not get the 3rd gas and then go pure charge lots with no upgrades to bother getting gas for. But without those forges, he is looking to be a little aggressive, just with a lot of stalkers, and then supporting will be the zealots when they're done the charge. Tank repositions to a very aggressive place, looking to protect his 3rd eventually. The Raven's gonna keep track of any observers. I heard one though. There it is on the left side. Warp Prism's looking to get into the main, and there's nothing there to defend. No, wouldn't mind to even injure the Warp Prism, Hallucination's going to scout the lack of defenses, or exactly where the defenses are, I should say. Because there is some... Oh, well, now there isn't. The Warp Prism would still drop away from that tank anyways. Zest really getting the lay of the land. Still wants to go for the bop, though. So this is less about trying to run into your opponent and bop them. This is more about hoping to get your opponent to run out to you. So Terran Army goes out, Warp Prism goes in. Even if the Warp Prism doesn't last a long time, you have just built a lot of army back at home. And you're looking to crush the Terran Army before they realize what's up. If you don't crush the Terran Army, then we do get into the old conundrum of not having any splash, not having any upgrades. Zest would be in a bit of trouble. His Warp Prism has been scouted and denied by an auto turret with the Raven. The Blink Stalker army sees that it is actually going to be a move out. He wants to carry the Wood Mines, I would say, first and foremost. A bit awkward, but just a move command as he was moving the rest of his army forward. But he does take out 2 out of the 3 Wood Mines, 2 out of the 4. Scan reveals a rather large army with 2, now 3 Immortals, and I think Dream would just want to leave. He can't, I guess, leave, you know, without trying to make sure his tanks survive. Try and take a fight, but Zest is not exactly chasing him, so... I think Dream thought he would be chased and was prepared to take a fight, even if he didn't really want to. But that pullback's gonna be good. Zealots actually went off to the left to try and get some harassment, but the 3rd CC wasn't even there yet, so easy peasy cleanup. Now it's gonna be a 3rd orbital. And now we do talk about kind of the awkwardness that is Zest not having any splash or any upgrades. He's gonna work on his +1, it's already halfway, and he's gonna chrono out double Colossus. This could be a surprise for Dream. At one point, it's what everyone was doing. They're going Blink, Charge, and then the Colossus. Well, first it was Blink, Charge, High Templar. Right? And then it was Blink, Charge, double Colossus. And then it recently went back to Blink, Charge, Storm. So this might be going back to Dream being surprised. Not necessarily that he would, if he knew about this, be going right into a 2nd starport. But I think he'd be going faster into it. The emphasis right now going to be on just bioproduction and a Ghost Academy, which he's going to get no matter what. He's going to be on 3-base saturation. He can afford a Ghost Academy as well as Viking production. He doesn't know he needs Viking production yet. He just scouted an army moving through the middle of the map, is still probably a lot more scared of being overwhelmed than he is about the technology that could be coming out. A drop in the main is going to be cleaned up eventually. He gets about 7 probes though. But I think I actually would have... Dream doesn't know this, but I feel like you'd rather scout the Robos. He gets 11 probes, and that's, I would say, is usually pretty damn good. But the Robos have not been scouted, going up to 4 Colossus, and then you can go into Disruptors immediately afterwards, adding on a Dark Shrine, extend Thermal Lance, finally a 2nd Forge. Also incorporated here, Zest hasn't done a lot of damage, or any damage really to his opponent. Right? The Warp Prism didn't get in, the attack didn't really surprise and bop the tanks as much as maybe he was hoping for. It is kind of just a game where they both saw what they were doing and both respected it. But I think I like Zest's position a little bit more currently. I feel like he's controlling the game pace a little bit more. Dream just maybe a little too passive for my liking for a Terran player. Sometimes it's the best thing, don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's going to be fine. It's going to be great. But then other times, it's like, I wish there was something more happening. Drop of the main was decent. That was a start, but not much else is going on. He really is just trying to get to the best Terran army possible with superior upgrades to his opponents. Rounding out his composition with those ghosts. He's going to have 6 of them soon. I saw a couple of Vikings pop out, but I think they're only going for the patrol, and that is his first sighting of the Colossus. 4 laser giraffes firing away already. Immortals have their shield pop thanks to the EMP, and really no sentry energy here, so gotta be very careful about this. Both getting very wide concaves, which is a bit better for the Terran army right now, since the Protoss one is pretty dependent on the 4 Colossus. Dream is also handling the distraction over into the bottom left. DTs are cleaned up very quickly. That was actually a very nice defense. That could have been a lot worse, but here comes a lot more. The Warp Prism being used just to dig into this base. Scan runs out. Zealots are taken care of, but the DTs are noticed. And once again, good defense there from Dream. Now that his planetary and sensor tower is up on the right side, he can actually focus kind of entirely on the left. He's got Widow Mine, he's gonna have a bunker, he's got a missile turret. I'm liking Dream's defensive setup now. since he wasn't caught off guard by the Colossus. I mean, imagine if 4 Colossus show up and his army's here. Like, that would have been a disaster. But now that he's got everything settled, defended, I'm going to swap around and say that I actually like Dream's position more now. He has lost track of the army a little bit. But Widow Mines plus EMP, it's a hell of a combination. Zest army supply drastically dipping down. I don't think he realizes this could actually go really poorly for him. A lot of his army has been EMP'd, and 4 Colossus still don't have a direct counter. You know, a concave of Marauders is kind of a counter as well. So Zest playing a dangerous game. He's also down in upgrades. Dream's actually going to pull the SCVs, really try and slaughter this engagement. Dream has upgrade lead. He has an army supply lead. He's got a concave. He takes out the Warp Prism. Is it going to be enough, though? The 4 Colossus, now 3 Colossus, still actually end up winning out the battle. The Immortals also helping on the other side. Not really the highlight of the engagement, but damn helpful when it comes to a high Marauder count. And the supplies come out far more even than I thought they would. With Dream pulling the SCVs as well, I thought that he was able to clobber it, but apparently not. Just pulling back, force fields go down, taking advantage of the range of his army. Zest was able to take a decent fight, and that said it is decent. Dream still has, well, it's actually very even right now, but he had the army supply lead. He still has the upgrade lead with 3-3, about 80% done, and he still has 4 command centers, so replacing the SCVs, using a couple of mules instead of just saving all the scans. Certainly not out of the question for Dream. Single medevac gonna head over to that main base again. It is rather undefended, so it's also not really scouted. There's no observer over here. Zest went from Colossus production into Immortal production and not really stopping over on any excessive observer production. I also feel like he's missing those disruptors. Okay, he's got 2 and he's replacing the Immortals. I actually really like when Protosses incorporate Immortals. It feels like so often it is more of a habit and generally better, I suppose, to go from Colossus to Disruptors. But I do think there's times watching the Terran versus Protoss army fights engage each other, right? I feel like there's times where I'm like, oh man, maybe if you had 2 less Disruptors and 2 more Immortals, that would have actually been the bigger difference. But either way, anything pumping out from that Robo is going to be good. I think we can all agree on that. And 3 Colossus is actually kind of the back to the standard of what you would want nowadays. So looking very strong with that technology. Taking a good fight too. Dream didn't realize the army was just on the corner of his sensor tower. A recall is going to be used. I mean, he didn't really have to recall. I think he was close to max out, but not quite. But just wanted to make sure he didn't take any damage. Wasn't finding too much success over here anyways. Main drop is actually a lot worse. Oh, is that what he saw? The main drop is so much worse. 4 medevacs. That makes sense for the recall, but he handled the 3rd base first, then went into the main. In the process, losing 16 probes, an assimilator, a shield battery, a couple of pylons. Could have been worse, but that was actually a decent drop from Dream. Also trying to capitalize on it, on seeing the army theoretically so out of position. Wanted to hit that 4th base, but you know what? Zest is actually on top of it. He does have an observer over on this side. This, and then where's his last observer? I guess with the army, right? So it looks like he just predicted that attack to the top. Eventually, Dream will lose out in his upgrade lead, but not for another minute or so. That's always something he's got going for him. Never bothered making Vikings, which I feel is... I mean, I feel like 8 Vikings would be worth it, but he's just going to go for concave, concave, plus EMP. Yeah, that's a good combination. We got a couple of different scuffles going on. This army gonna collect with the main army, but then Zest also has a DT army to the north. EMPs do reveal DTs, so I don't think Zest wants to engage, actually. It's a bit dangerous from him. Oh, the EMP misses! And then the scan happens. There we go. Scan, then EMP. That was a lot of DTs to lose, and while they killed something, I mean, not the best trade. Zest moves in on the bottom, though, catching a very small Terran army. I mean, that's like Zest's like 80% of his army is here compared to Dream's what feels like is 50%. A lot's over on the top side, but then where is the rest of Dream's army? I guess it was in the reinforcing line. Is recall available? Not quite yet. It looks like it's got a couple of seconds to go. DTs warped in to try and save the day. Are not going to be able to as the scanner's available. Actually, a surround with DTs starts to hammer in. And that one DT might be... Nope, not quite. But then the main engagement's going down. That's a lot more important. Probes might be dying, but perhaps Dream can't hold. Let's see. Lots of medevacs actually filling his supply. That's one of the reasons it looked deceiving. But it looks like that healing, that concave, the Marauder count is going to be good enough. The last Colossus falls, and that is it. Dream brings it to Game 5. I don't know that Zest actually commits to that push if he had a recall. I think he recalls and continues playing out the game. But with recall just seconds away, and him finding the army like he did, I think it was too tempting to just try and end it. There's only one map remaining. It is Jagannatha. Okay. The Toss army looks stronger than it actually was. That has actually happened a lot with Colossus-based armies. I think Colossus in particular looks strong, right? Because they got range, they're flipping laser giraffes, and they're splash. But their actual attack isn't that intimidating to Marauders specifically. And Dream is making like 5 Marauders at a time. So as long as you got yourself a little concave... Oh, SCV being pulled out. The army that is a lot of Stalkers and Colossus is actually quite fragile. Zest was incorporating those Immortals like I was talking about, and I guess at one point he had Disruptors, but I guess they were focus fired. That still only is going to cover so much. I think he was actually missing a lot of charge lots because his Warp Prism wasn't involved with the main fight. I think it came in at the last second, actually. Far too late to the party. The SCV is going for a Proxy Rax. Top right of Jagannatha, we have Dream. Bottom left, it is Zest. And Dream starts to mix up his build orders, starts doing a lot better. I'm gonna pat myself on the back. What a good coach I would make. Now, the Hellions really brought back, I mean, the series. He was about to lose, but the Hellions decided it quite early even in Game 3. So easy win there for Dream. And then the second game, last game, wasn't really like a huge surprise. Uh-oh, this probe's gonna find this. Wasn't like it was some super clever secret build, but it still, I think, provided some aggression, changed up the way that Zest had to react, and then when Dream made the correct decision to not engage in the Zest army, it really forced Zest to have to adapt with the lack of upgrades and the lack of technology. Well, this is just goddamn awkward. That is Korean for literally. He was really hoping that the Sim City would have worked out in his favor, and not the Sim City, just the AI, you know, like it would have parked itself over in the top left. The barracks will finish. He really did have to let that finish. That was just... If he didn't pull any SCV whatsoever, it is so awkward. I guess you would hope that the Stalker or Adept or whatever, like, spends time on the barracks while you're building another one at home, but not ideal. Much of the day is Ziggy in that spot. In the hammock? At least 8 hours. Yeah. He's done a good job of sitting there, sleeping there while I stream and not bothering me. He usually does it too when I'm just like streaming. Or not streaming, but just regular working. So the Reaper is out. Second Reaper is on the way. This one actually retreats all the way home. Zest decides to go for his own proxy to show Dream how it's done. But Dream's gonna scout the proxy. Did he scout the lack of second pylon or something? The hell? Wow, alright. Goes right on over there. Right on over. Maybe the lack of probe scout from the probe that left the barracks. And he went right to the proxy location. And you know what? While probe doesn't have to make the building, I'm still not sure this is actually going to get up and running. The probe can just leave it and hope that it gets up, but... two Stalkers trying to cover it now. Gateway is going to finish. Warp Gate's going to come in.
Thank you.
I guess Zest is still going to be able to do this, but Dream has now been alerted to it. He's going to lose a Reaper, almost lose a Hellion. Bunker's also not being completed. I think he actually really needs to complete that bunker. It's a little scary without it. But then the Stalkers lose the war against the remaining units. 3 more Stalkers warped in, however. 3 gateways. Bunker is barely going to finish in the nick of time. Whew. Widow Mine is not going to get any shot, and those units in the bunker are not particularly great at dealing with Stalkers usually. As long as their numbers are decent, and I guess 4 is okay, the Reapers are going to struggle against this. Widow Mine's coming out. It's kind of like a... Usually Widow Mines are an emergency choice. They pop out fast, and they're a guaranteed 1 hit, 1 kill, sure. But if you really want to push something back, you usually want to look more towards a tank or a Cyclone. With Adepts joining in, they could actually even technically out-micro the Widow Mine. It's really difficult to do, but they could. But I think at the very least, you trade out the Adept for a Widow Mine as opposed to a Stalker. The Widow Mines are out here defending, not going for the drop and attacking. The Command Center is not building SCVs or dropping mules on a natural. So he's going to mine out his main a lot quicker. There's the Adept Shade. Actually, he did it correctly. Only 1 Widow Mine was there, and he didn't get bopped by it. Medevac goes down as well. Not that it had a lot of things to heal. The bunker will fall, and Zest is still going to make this work. The 8 probes went down at home. So I think the Hellion's running by, but maybe they should have been back here. Maybe they should have been helping. Dang. He actually had 4 Reapers made in total. Widow Mine helps take out an Adept, but Stalkers just helped to take out an entire flipping command center. Not only reducing Dream to 1 base, but also supply blocking him. Instantly, 3 supply depots go down. Dream is trying to rebuild his natural, but like, I know he killed some probes. His Reapers finally got some damage, but you cannot build back up to a natural. That's not gonna work. Fritzland, thank you for the 3-month resub. Dream, prove me wrong. I want to see how this is going to work out. It just seems like there is no hope here. He's got to wait for stim and combat shields. He's got to wait for the command center to finish, plus the orbital, plus moving it over. Zest has a lot of time here. And what Zest, I think the only thing he has to do is make sure that it's not some like 1 base all in with the SCVs being pulled. And then as soon as he realizes it's not that, and there is the hallucination to do exactly what I just said, it specifically was made to scout. You can just go for a 3rd Nexus. Finish up his charge. Go into Blink afterwards. I do think the charge first is mostly out of fear. Making sure he doesn't die to something early on, but definitely let it finish. And then, yeah, you're gonna know you have time to get Blink as well. I mean, maybe Zest does just go for the all-in. He's also building gateways with this charge. He adds on a Dark Shrine as well. I've been apprehensive of Zest's all-ins before. That was game 2, and he made it work, but once again, I'm gonna have to be like, if anything was gonna throw this game for Zest, it would be trying to force units down Dream's throat. Alright, I like seeing that third Nexus a little bit better. So Zest wants this pylon, not because he's really going to use it for like proxy, oh my god, reinforcements, but because he wants to use the DTs here. Oopsie, oopsie, oopsie. That's awkward. Yeah, I'm sorry, Soba. No one cares if you're saying go. War Prism's on the way. Blink does start. War Prism just for the Dark Shrine harassments. A couple Widow Mines get dropped in the main base, and that's, I think, what Dream was a little sad about the timing of that hiccup. Grabs 4 probes, but escapes, so really not too bad there. Combat Shields is done. Stim is done. +1 will finish up. Dream has managed to even grab himself a worker lead, but it is a lot because Zest chose to go for these extra gateways. Didn't really have as fast of a Nexus as he could have, although it is finally finishing. Zest wants to attack him. And I don't know if that's the right call. I feel like just scouting that he's actually trying to play out the macro game and then just taking advantage of that would have been better off. DT coming in at the exact wrong time. Missile turret got finished. Scans are available. Zest. Oh, let's watch. Let's see how this goes. Double Immortal gonna take out the tank in the high grounds. Shields get popped. Ooh, and both of them are saved. Injured, though. Very injured. Command Center is gonna have to be canceled. It looks like no, killed, actually. It provided the buffer for the tank and the bio against the charge lots, but losing the entire Command Center. 400 minerals down the drain. Zest realizing he's not really going to be able to bust his Terran opponent, draws back home, starts up his Forge, but his upgrade very much so later than Dream, who could also start at +1 armor, as soon as he remembers. Zest is finally going to have the utility of Blink and is actually searching around for the drop. He saw it with his Observer. I think he's going to find it. He's in position, man. He's got it. He's got it. Not the worst thing there for Dream, but not great. Warp Prism Micro. Oh my god, EF2's it! Oh, it was on the wrong hotkey. Oh, I don't think EF2's. I don't think he does anyways, but it was on a hotkey that it maybe wasn't supposed to be on. The Immortal's going down, pretty big deal. Long time to make, pretty expensive units, and still very helpful. I'd say the Warp Prism in general going down is actually the bigger loss. That lack of threats. If they're going to push into you, they're not going to have reinforcements. If you move out now, they're not going to be able to just swoop in with a couple of DTs and a Warp Prism like they usually would, so. Zest very quickly replaced it, and now going into some Colossus production as his robotics bay finished up, but ow. A lot of stalkers. A lot of micro ability. That's a very large Terran army, though. That was not a fantastic start. Loses stalkers, doesn't get the Widow Mine. You got a Warp Prism headed into the main base, though. Quick reaction against a single missile turret. And that is going to be a bit of a distraction. There we go, actually. The army's starting to split up as he realizes what Zest's plan is. Zest just grabs a couple Widow Mines, prepare to grab the Zealots in the main as well. Looking for any damage, trying to get the reactors. Not quite gonna work out. Good repair there from Dream. What? Why? Okay.
Resubscription received. Apparently you are doing something right, Captain.
And the Stalkers shooing away the Viking from chasing down the Warp Prism. Zest is really good at having just control over the game. Thank you, Fear Dragon, for the tier 2 70-month resub. Whew. Dream's finishing up his 1-1, but Zest has added on that second Forge, so Will be catching up on the upgrades. Not as severe as last game. And the difference. Working off of 2 Robo again is going to go up to 4 Colossus. 4th next is going to be scouted by the 2nd attempt at a drop to the right side. Zest was unable to find it. His soccer is still sharking around for anything they can find. But now that the sensor tower is up, Dream should be prepared. No pull away there. That was odd. He warps in, doesn't pull away, and then tries to go back to microing his stalkers, but oh my god, Blink is on cooldown. So many stalkers are gonna fall here. Oh no. Dream, he was preparing to chase down those stalkers, but the fact that the AI also did not work very favorably there for Zest made it even worse. Only 3 stalkers survive. That was a terrible, terrible loss. I cannot believe Dream has done such a great job recovering from losing an entire command center. But I really gotta kind of fault Zest for the choice that he made. I mean, hindsight 2020, I think there definitely are situations where Zest follow-up all-in is actually perfect. It totally obliterates the Terran player. It just didn't seem like it was gonna work in this game, and he had knowledge of that too. Like, his Observer was there, his Hallucination got a scout first, said, okay, you're gonna macro, and then his Observer was there and said, well, it looks like a pretty standard setup, but I'm still gonna try it. Didn't work. Now he's lost like 20 stalkers. Zest once again gonna be aggressive, and I'm gonna have to question that too. He's gonna have an upgrade lead in just a hot second. 2-1, just a 1-1 for another 30-40 seconds. And he's also got that technology lead again, that the Colossus with no direct counter. Dream's gonna have to hope he gets a concave of his Marauders plus the EMP. But he did it last game, he could do it again here. Oh no, the War Prism went down. EMP plus just a handful of Vikings taking it down is a pretty big deal, and yet Zest is still going to continue and commit to the attack. Tank siege up, Stalkers trying to take out the Vikings, but still losing one of the Colossus. He's still going to dedicate to this? Jeez Louise, this guy's decision-making's out of this world. Probes went down on the natural as Wood of Mines grabbed a ton. 14 probes go down. This one is only recently cleaned up as well, and Zest loses so many units on the attack. Once again, the supplies aren't as bad as I would have figured. Moving into that choke, moving into a sieged up position from the Terran, but it still doesn't feel great for Zest, as now he's going to be down in upgrades. 2-2-1 finishing for Dream. He's down in economy, down below 50 probes is not good at all. And not really able to afford that much of a transition. I think he's gotta go for some disruptors being added in here, man. And hope they get some good hits. Dreams on 4 bases, a planetary, 2 sensor towers, missile turrets everywhere. Yeah, that's right, he lost 2 CCs actually. Well, Dream lost 1 very early on, usually unrecoverable. Unless your opponent's also on 1 base. And then he also lost 1 that was being built. But I think the defense was just good enough anyways, that even when he lost the command center, it was more important that he defended Zest's committal. That seems to be kind of the name of the game here. Dream, the 2 first games, unable to defend well enough. The next 3 games, well, okay, not game number 3. Game number 3 was Hellions. But the next games after that one is all about Dream defending and Zest being a little over-aggressive. It looks like just perfect play when it works. In that first game when he was like, no, I can take on that fight. I can take the high ground. I can blink up. It's fine. It looked perfect. You just had to applaud that. In the games where he loses outs because he tries to take engagements, suddenly you start to really second guess his decision making. But that's the, just the back and forth that is being a Zest fan, watching Zest. Sometimes it looks brilliant. Sometimes it's like, is it really what you want to do? Like, I don't know. Lots of observers have also fallen thanks to some accidentally well-placed EMPs. Disruptors have been added in, currently at 3, going up to 5. 3-3 is on the way for Dream. 3-2 for Zest. Dream now moving out with a portion of his army, as he also has a drop in the main. Disruptor's gonna go for the hits, not gonna find anything. But the army has responded, or has it actually? Zest trying to reinforce the front lines, blinks his stalker the wrong direction. Disruptor's still not getting any hits. Oh, spoke too soon. There's a beautiful one. There are the Stalkers that were supposed to be helping in the main base. Now reinforcing Stalkers are gonna have to do the trick. Barely gonna grab, nope, not quite that medevac. These medevacs also able to fly away as Zest was kind of being pulled as far as attention goes in one direction than the other. Observer coverage actually pretty good now. Covering the attack paths, covering the expansion process. But Zest, having been cut so harshly in the economy thanks to the Widowmine drop and then the ultimately failed attack, does not look very good only being on 4 bases. He has on a Stargate, a second Cybernetic core. He's going to be going up into that later game TVP. But on 4 bases, he really needs a 5th. And he's going to grab an aggressive 5th. Oh my god, it's going to be a tug of war on the right side of Jagannatha. Medevac probably won't do very much, honestly. It's going to be unscouted, but the army's so close to it, I can't see it doing a whole lot. Dream is going to be moving into Liberators, so Zest will need to either really control the game, which he can't do at a 50 supply deficit, or yes, he absolutely has to be going into Stargates. I didn't think that drop would do a whole lot, and yet still grab 13 probes, because Zest did not pull his probes away from it. The Stalkers need to be on the front lines to help. The Liberators are encroaching, and Zest didn't get fast enough to his Stargate. He still hasn't added on a fleet beacon, I believe. I don't think Zest can take this base, man. I can't believe he's not giving up on it, seeing that there are Liberators here. Oh my god! Oh! Oh! That was a... Okay, well, never mind. Dream was not paying attention. He was trying to micro this little attack off to the left side, and hey, he's gonna grab a Colossus for it, but he just lost like 20 supply worth of bio that was supporting his Liberators, so the Liberators also get pushed back. And that is a lot of siege units. Tanks, Liberators, even a Planetary holding on there, so I think he'll be alright. But I cannot believe that Zest holds the space. That was supposed to be a slow siege forward with Liberators. Liberators, guys! Those things are really scary. But Zest pushes back and now has time to get his fleet beacon to get his Stargate another decent disruptor shot. And these ones gonna try and take out the tanks, take out the SAC defense. Oh, this game though. And I have 3 Stargates to start pumping out some Tempests, which he still does need. I mean, to actually break someone going into Liberators, unless you really, as I was saying, control the game, force them to re-siege, re-siege, blah. Like, you have to get into Tempests. Especially if the map doesn't really have like if it's like a romanticide, and Dream is literally going from left to right, like, and not pushing with his expansions, then yes, you can play around with Blink Stalkers a little bit more, threaten base trades, but when you're expanding and pushing, the Liberators will eventually corner you. Unless you try and play like Ring Around the Rosie on the map expansions. So, I like that Zest is prepared for this. I just can't believe he got away with it. Big army to the left. Oh my god, fights 2 medevacs! Oh my god! Dream. I cannot even imagine where his morale is at right now. Zest might still have to give up the space. I mean, it's done a decent bit of mining, more than I thought it would. The carriers aren't prepared. And now Dream is focusing entirely on the push, so he should not be taking any disruptor hits to the face. That Nexus is gonna fall. Zest never taken any of these bases off to the left, now kind of just has to. He's back down to his original 4 bases. That's not a lot of mining left over. Main, natural, both mined out. 3rd base looking awfully weak. He is trying to hide his carriers and I guess not using them immediately, right? He could have and then try to clear up Liberators one at a time, but instead hiding them, no longer hidden. A scan reveals 3 carriers, about to be 5. And they're also going to have okay upgrades. Dream's still not going to pull away, though. He's going to just continue building up his starport units. Sorry. Stargate, starport units. 5 Vikings going up to 7 against 5 carriers. Not quite where you want to be. Not quite, but not terrible either, actually. Zest not losing control of only his 5th, but also his 4th. Still not expanding anywhere else. Putting all of his minerals and gas into just maxing out and trying to take care of this army. But can it actually work out? The carrier is not getting close to taking out the Liberators as they siege here. 11 Liberators. That's going to be all of the choke points sieged up. The 5 carriers and 2 temp is going to try and save the day. Disruptors getting okay shots. Liberators starting to go down. More Disruptors trying to get the better shots here at the end. Liberators on the top side actually aren't even involved in the fight anymore. They aren't being repositioned either. And this is going to go the way of Zest. He's down to 3 bases though, and that's a little terrifying. But maybe he can continue the momentum and push into Dream's 5th base and maybe even get his 4th. That's the dream anyways. Well, that's Zest's dream. And Zest also has to replace a base, man. Like, what base are you even gonna take? And take this one? Still no bases. Still none. He's using his minerals to get a couple of High Templar and then also replace his interceptors. As I said, trying to carry that momentum to get a couple of bases, either planetaries. It's gonna take a little while longer than you would hope to kill them, but they are definitely gonna go down. SCVs trying to be saved. That's like 20 SCVs. Go for the... Oh, go, get him! Go, don't, get him! Oh, damn it. Okay, Dream's not paying attention to it. That's fair. He is being attacked on another planetary, trying to control for his life. The Vikings, though, actually taking out interceptors, I guess isn't a bad thing. Especially as Zest retreats. A lot of interceptors went down as he retreated, so... It's not usually what you would expect them to focus on, but sometimes it is the right call. SCVs have done a complete runaround. I can't believe they didn't get the High Templars, though. That would have been so funny. God, I wish that had happened. They do a complete runaround. Managed to go to the top left. That is an orbital. Not his main or natural. He just made an extra orbital. Was hoping to get away with it. So that's not as defended as Dream would hope. Oh, the EMPs. Oh, God. Disgusting. That is the entire Protoss army EMP'd. Zest replaces his 4th, which actually was running out of minerals. Don't know if that was the proper decision. Disruptors don't necessarily care if they're EMP. They still have their shot, but they are a lot more snipeable once they're EMP'd. Ditto for the carriers, actually, as the Viking count has grown to 9. Stalker's trying to get in here. Maybe, actually doing a decent job here. Disruptors zone out the bio, so the Stalkers actually get away with blinking to where they did, and that's not a planetary. So the command center has to lift. That's a lot of lost mining here for Dream. I mean, he saved this planetary, but his 4th base is also almost out. It's even worse than Zest's 4th base. Disruptors. Damn. They've both got counters to each other's armies. And so it's all about positioning. It's all about positioning and micro. He wants to save the SCVs. He does save some. All right. I feel like the work account's not, it's not true, you know? Oh, one Colossus gets taken down, but the other one barely alive. Yeah, the work account's not really true because they're mining off of so few mineral patches. That's, well, Zest does have 10 more workers. It's like, well, kind of? He's mining off of like 1 base. Oh my God, 31 out of 8. Oh my God, Dream double scans. That's the am I fucked scan. He's not actually. I mean, it's not a brilliant game for either player, but Zest does seem to be in a little bit more control than his opponent. But however, Dream having this top middle right base is actually a really big deal. Zest has to deny it. We can't quite, though. The Viking numbers are so scary. 11 Vikings to 3 carriers. Ooh, take out the tank. As long as the Disruptors are alive, you guys. As long as they live. Fantastic. They want to go for the SCVs as well. I think they do. Oh, not gonna grab what they can. Oh no, he's gonna lose them. Oop, good split there. Gonna lose 2 Disruptors. By the way, Zest never got up to +3 armor. I don't know if it's really gonna matter, but just noting. Oh, good storm on top of the Vikings. Grabs 1, but the carrier took a lot of damage for that. Zest still had a supply lead, but only about 10 of it's in army. He's also down in the, I mean, the Vikings have +3 ship weapons. I thought they only had +2. They have +3. And Zest has 2-1 on his air. But I feel like this game actually is going to be less about air. I mean, it's so hard for Zest because he could try and like tech swap, quote unquote, with his economy. It's not really that great of a tech swap. Back into ground. But as soon as he does that, if Dream can't afford to go back into Liberators, well, yeah, the Liberators will eventually just win out. So You can't really stop going into air. An aggressive blink forward, hoping to catch Liberators before they respond. They certainly aren't responding, but here come the Vikings to tear down the air army. Disruptors are out of ammo, but the storm's hitting the rest of the bio. Has Zest actually done it? I think maybe he has. The carriers are down, but a Tempest and Colossus are still alive. The Liberators were never repositioned, so never helping out with the main fights. A Thor desperately backs away into a planetary for its defense. Mama, please save me. Command Center is going to go down. That was his main orbital. The other orbital that I guess was saved from earlier on is now going to head over to the top left. Zest is going to see it, but can't do much about it. He's focusing entirely on the push to the planetary. I think Zest has done it, guys. This Thor is so weak to the disruptors, actually. Oh, good splits, good splits. He's like, oh man, if I could do the one concave. If Dream could get a decent concave on this army, it is such a fragile army. But I think that time is gone. Dream can't afford enough army supply. He's gonna lose another Thor here? Oh no. At half the army supply of his opponent, I don't think Dream can do it. He's desperately making Marines. The cheapest thing, just to get, like, I think numbers is the way to go, actually. Because if he can just get a surround, then disruptors are hitting 2 or 3 Marines at a time. The Colossus is... Single Colossus, not going to kill Marines that fast. I don't mind the pure Marine response, but, you know, it's not ideal. You usually want Marauders and EMPs, as well as, yeah, Medivacs, which now he's going to dedicate to. Oh, it's something that he's been low on for a while. Oh my god, the storms! Oh my god! Oh, it hurts! It hurts! At least the High Templars and the War Prism die. Although, funnily enough, the Observer barely lives. Splash damage only took it out, but oh my god. Looks like a drop over to the right wasn't... I don't think that was worth it. It was a Medivac, a Marauder, and a couple of Marines. Only got 7 probes. I mean, compared to what Zest just did, I mean, god. Apparently this game is not over, though. As soon as Dream slapped down mules on a fresh base, it was like, oh yeah, I'm rich. I'm good. Uses an EMP to take out another Observer. I think definitely useful, actually. Well, useful as long as he has EMPs for the main army engagement, right? Like, that would have been awkward. 2 Medivacs get picked up. Sensitower is going to reveal the army movement of Zest. Planetary, I mean, it's kind of worth saving, even though it's not going to mine very much, just because it means that Zest has one more thing to topple before hitting that natural. Blinking forward to take care of what he can. Dream is like, I know I can do this. I can do this. I can't do this. So many splits. He's going to try and come in here with maybe a 270. Instead he's just losing units right and left. Oh, he's going to be so careful. He's going to be so careful. If Zest just knows where the army is coming in from, I don't think Dream can win this. Also got to split his High Templars too, I suppose. If he's like all clumped up, gets EMP'd, and gets surrounded, then that's when Zest can lose. But you know what? Now that he's added in charge lots, that's less viable. Couple of splits, not so bad, but not good enough. Liberators come in. This is going to be the last hurrah from Dream, but it's not going to work out. The left side's going terribly. Oh, I can't believe it, Dream. You tried so hard, buddy. You tried so hard. You got so far. And in the end, it didn't even matter. And the scan reveals a fresh base from Zest, and he knows that he is truly screwed. He's not going to win this weekly. GG. Zest starts the series off with a 2-0. Can't quite close it out in game 3 or 4. And has a real tough time closing out in game 5. But it eventually happened. Well played.